Scripture tells us at the time of death, at the time of physical death, ultimate death, that where your mind is focused here and where your heart is or your feelings governs what happens in the next stream of life. If you need more explanation on that, watch the rest of the videos. Now, I have personally tested, and I can tell you, and Scripture backs this up 100%, that each night before you go to bed, your last thoughts and where your heart is, where your feelings are, governs your next day. When your avatar resurrects, the story of you is going to continue. So if the story of you is addiction and just tragedy, that story is going to continue. But that last 5 minutes before you go to sleep is key. It's the same as ultimate physical death. Where your mind is, where your thoughts are, and where your heart or your feelings are going to govern your next stream of life. And in this case, when we're talking about waking up the following morning, it's going to govern, that is another dream of life, the continued dream of life. When your avatar resurrects, you're going to continue in the dream that you stopped, that you convinced yourself you were in the night before. So, how you change that is 5 minutes before you go to bed, I want you to imagine a future event. I want you to shut down your senses, all senses. I want you to go to a quiet place, close the door, and I want you to lay down on your back or whatever's comfortable in your favorite chair or recliner. I want you to shut down your senses. I want you to put your imagination, your body, in a place, a future place, that is a place that is lacking what your current ailments are. For example, if you're addicted, or if you're broke, or both, if you're if your relationships, your job, whatever's wrong in your life, I want you to imagine a future in the first person, meaning that you're not watching it on a movie screen. You're actually a participant. I want you to imagine yourself in a place surrounded by unconditional love. And I'm going to use a drug abuse problem right now. A drug abuse problem right now. This is going to change your automatic thought. The thoughts that pop in your mind, the thoughts that place the picture on the back of your eye that you cannot see, that govern what happens in this 3D world. Imagine a scene in the future where whatever ails you is not present. It is something that you overcame. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Imagine yourself out to dinner with your lover, children, doesn't matter. The feeling is the key. You are in a place where the overwhelming feeling of love, unconditional, and the feeling that you're secure and safe prevails. The feeling of whatever's going on in your mind or your world right now, same thing, has passed. All addiction has passed. All turmoil, heartache, anxiety has passed. You're in the first person and you're talking, meaning that your loved ones are right across from you and they're looking at you with their eyes and you're looking back at them in their eyes. Okay? You're looking at them. Eyes are meeting. And you're explaining to them how awesome your life is currently. I want one of your loved ones in your imagination, while you're laying in a quiet place, when your senses are shut down and you're actually there. You're actually there 5 minutes before you go to bed, in complete belief that you are there in that place. The only sense that you have is that you are in that place, in the first person, scanning your hands. That's why my hands are tattooed, by the way. You pick up a glass of water or wine, whatever you decide. So you're in the first person, and it'll help you. I want one of your loved ones to say to you, and we're going to use drugs for example, you know, I'm so happy that you no longer have an issue with drugs and alcohol. How long has it been? Now, when you create this, you're creating it as a memory, as if you are completely cured. You wouldn't even imagine taking a drink. As a matter of fact, you've associated it with horrible things. So it's just not even, it's like a drug that you don't do right now that you just can't understand why people do it. And I want that to be your reaction with feeling. Feeling is the key. So when the person says to you, you know, in the first person, I remember when you had the worst drug problem, I want you to reply like this. You know, I do too. I am so happy, and I am so glad that I no longer have that issue. I haven't done drugs in a long, long time. I don't need them anymore. My default feeling within me is the feeling of bliss and happiness and love. And you know what else? Everyone I meet treats me with unconditional love now that I'm sober. Everything that I see unconditional love in it. And every place that I go, I'm received with unconditional love. Now, this conversation has to be backed by feeling in the first person with the total belief that you're sitting there. There is no other reality but there. This is the next stream of life that you're creating, like as if you're dying and you're in complete peace and you're okay with it, and your heart, your feelings, and your mind were at the kingdom of heaven. Whatever your idea of heaven is. Usually, which is what this place lacks. Okay? That is the feeling. That is your feelings are shut down. The feelings that you're going to have with this conversation, this lucid conversation, are the feelings of unconditional love. So when you say people treat me with unconditional love, you're feeling unconditional love at that moment. Your eyes are touching, and not only when you're talking, you're watching your loved one's face change with the feeling of relief. What is relief? That you no longer have a problem. Relief, I would liken it to, is if you, perfect example is, you hear a car accident down the street, your 5-year-old's on a little bicycle, and you run out the door and he's right there and he's safe, and that's the feeling of relief. Feeling of relief. That's the feeling of relief. So when you say to your loved one, hey, I no longer have that problem. What you've just done is feeling is the key, reprogrammed your automatic thought, which is controlled by your subconsciousness, which is your higher self, your true self, which governs all of your perception and what happens next in the dream of life. Now, so the video doesn't get that long. If you need more on this, go to Kabbalistic and watch the rest of the videos. 5 minutes before you go to bed, in the first person, feeling is the key. Feeling of relief accompanied by the feeling of unconditional love. You're doing it as a memory one more time. You remember when you had a drug problem. You remember when you were broke. You remember when you were sick. You remember when you're on the outs with your loved ones. You remember when you had whatever issue ails you right now. It's done. It's over. It's finished. And that finished feeling is the feeling of relief. So when you are in this imaginal act in the first person and you're sitting across the table from these people, you're explaining to them how you've overcome it. It's a picture in your mind backed by feeling. Don't make it too complicated. It's one photo that you're taking of you at your favorite restaurant that you visited, a favorite place that you went to, when you are in the most loving time of your life, the most perfect, peaceful, blissful time of your life. That is when this future event is taking place. Now what's going to happen is 5 minutes before you go to bed, you're going to continue this over and over and over again, you playing this movie reel out in your mind until the moment before you fall asleep, which is the moment that you're going to lose control. It's the moment that you drift. Right before that happens, I'm going to quote a little bit of scripture for you right now. In Genesis 1, when God created all things, He created everything, okay? At the very end, He saw what He had created and He saw that it was good. What I want you to do is I want you to remember the moment from that place, from the dinner table, of when you created that moment. I want you to look back from that place in the first person, picture in your mind as a memory of when you created that perfect reality. View yourself sitting in that chair in that quiet place and let it go. Let it go. See that everything that you've created is good and perfect and in your best interest, accompanied with unconditional love and the memory that it's over. I'll tell you what, if you do that, you've just completely reprogrammed your subconsciousness. Do not take my word for it. Do not believe a word I say. Try it tonight. I guarantee you, if you try it tonight, tomorrow will be a completely different day. Completely. The feeling of relief and the feeling of belief that you're truly there, accompanied by the first person and shutting down your senses, creates the following day. The following day after you do this will be magical. You're going to do this 3 days in a row. 3 days in a row. You're going to do this the first night. You're going to wake up. The end of the first day is going to be like this can't be right. You're going to do it. You're going to watch this video again. You're going to do it exactly that way. The second day is going to be better, and the third day, your whole life is going to change. Probably, if you have a horrible drug addiction, or if you have a horrible situation, your perception of that situation and your drug addiction are going to just disappear. How do I know? I've personally experienced it. Kabbalah saved my life. Kabbalah saved my life. Mysticism saved my life. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's very long. Subscribe. Watch the rest of the videos. My phone number is all over that website. It's all over the website. So if you need to talk, text me, man. I'll walk you right through it. There is no better ride than mysticism. Okay. I love you. Try it. Thanks. Bye bye.